Today we're going to go over the messaging app, so text messages, tips and tricks on it. We're going to do a lot of basic stuff, but probably some of the things here today I explained may be new for you. But we'll go over what does it mean when if your text message is actually sent and delivered, just very basic stuff like sending a text message. How do you send a photo in text messages? How do you save pictures in text messages? How to use your voice to type. So those are some of the tutorials we're going to go over today. And next week will be a hybrid class because we are off on Juneteenth. There won't be a class next Thursday. The center's closed. So if you want to participate, the next class will be on Tuesday for those people online. So you guys here today. So let's begin. And of course, if anybody has questions, you can unmute yourself or type it in the chat. So we're going to discuss iPhone versus Android. So by now, hopefully, we all know whether we have an iPhone or if we have an Android. So, right, iPhones are people that have Apple phones. So, and it's very easy to know if you have an Apple phone because if you take off the case from your phone, there should be an Apple logo on the back of your phone. And then most likely everyone else would have just an Android device because those are the two competitors. So with an iPhone and an Android, their text messaging does have the same features, but there are colors that distinguish the two of them. So you probably already know this because I may have said this before previously, but if you have an iPhone, and you're texting somebody else that has an iPhone, then the conversations are usually going to be in blue and gray. So if you're ever wondering whether your friend or family member has an iPhone, usually their text will be in blue. And if you're texting somebody and the conversations are green and gray, that means that the other party has an Android. So next time when you're texting someone, just look out for those colors.
Taba, what does SMS mean?
Short messaging system. So
Okay, thanks.
that's just a form of texting someone when they don't have an iPhone.
Okay, good.
So iPhone uses iMessage. So that's the system that we use to just text somebody. But if you're using an Android or if we're texting an Android, we use SMS. And it's basically how, everyone used to text before iPhones were invented. It's just like the other system. But when iPhones released, they wanted to be exclusive, so they created kind of their own messaging system, which we call iMessage.
Sometimes though it will say on mine, and I'm Android, but it'll say switching to RSS or something. I think it's
Yeah,
with a
so,
longer text,
right.
maybe.
Then not yeah. So there's another one called RCS, which is rich communication. And that is like another way of Android texting where your message will have more features you could do. Like you could do your video chatting and your messages will be private. So only you and the other person can view the text messages. So yes, that also exists. That's something you could also turn on in your messaging app for Androids.
So if that's private, what is the other one? Someone else can read it, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, apparently the rich communication system is more secure. That's what I was reading before the presentation today. That like the messages are encrypted. So basically, the Android or your phone company is not reading the text messages. Like it's you and the party. The conversations are private. and they have like more security features in terms of like hacking and so on.
Oh, does it say how, did you notice how to turn it on? Because usually with me, it just says, there's this thing as I'm typing it or texting, it'll say that it switched it.
If it's there, then that means yeah, it's already turned on. If you see it's already turned on, but I do have uh a article later that could show you how to turn it on.
Okay, great, thank you.
That's for Androids. All right, so just to continue with this one slide, right? Both the apps use messages, right? That's the app name for both devices. And then lastly, with texting also includes FaceTime for iPhones, which is our video chat. So if we wanted to call somebody and see them in real time, we could use FaceTime. However, both Androids and iPhones can also use WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp is another messaging app that we're not going to really talk about today, but it is an app that you can video chat with others. iPhone and Android can both use WhatsApp, and it's usually used for people who live in internationally or want to text their families internationally. It's just a very well-known app in other countries besides the US. Okay, so let's continue. So just wanted to show you this slide for those that have iPhone so you can understand. So as you can see, on the left-hand side, it's green, the text message, and on the right-hand side, it's gray and blue. So once again, if you are texting somebody that has an iPhone, most likely you're going to see blue text messages like here on the screen. If you are texting somebody that has an Android, it will most likely be green on the left side. So just watch out for that. Doesn't mean one is better than the other. It's just the colors that the phone indicates so you know which party you're texting. And sometimes, let's see, do I have a slide? Just want to show you this quick. Sometimes you can text an iPhone person and it can turn green. And usually, if your text messages turn green with someone that has an iPhone, basically it means that your message was not delivered or it can be sent. So sometimes if we're texting in a bad reception area, like the train or in a hilly area, mountains or so on, sometimes the message turns green, and sometimes next to the green message, it may show a little caution that says not delivered. So just I don't know if anyone has ever experienced that, some because less and less now, the reception is, getting better, right? Where we have better cell service around the world, especially in New York. But sometimes you may get that, right? So you're just gonna have to wait until you get into a better reception area for your message to be sent. And sometimes, the messages can turn green.
Tabitha,
Yes.
it can also mean, can't it, that you might say you're texting with three people and one of them is Android. And
That's also true. Yes. If you're in a group chat with people, you can also see green text messages.
Tabitha, if it says not delivered and you get into a better area, will it be delivered or do you have to resend it?
So if it doesn't do it automatically, if you see that red caution sign, you can just
Yes.
tap on that and it will resend it to the person.
Okay, thanks.
If it doesn't do it automatically.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so now that we know that, so with both Android, some Androids, because I did this class on Tuesday, Androids are kind of funny. When you send a text message with some Androids, you can see the word delivered at the bottom of it. If not, don't worry. I have a slide for you coming up right now in the next slide. But usually, a question that came up in the on Tuesday's class was, how do I know that my text was sent? So right away, when you send a text message, it should say delivered at the bottom underneath it, especially if you're texting someone that has an iPhone. It should just say the word delivered. For Android, if you're texting somebody that has an Android, I don't think it says anything underneath it. So for that part, you're just gonna have to wait until they reply back. However, we do know it's sent to the person because there's no caution sign next to it. So if you don't see that caution sign that I just showed everybody, most likely your text did get sent. However, when you are texting someone that has an iPhone, if it's an iPhone to an iPhone, it will say delivered underneath it. Um, and some Android phones do show the word delivered. That's why I just want to make note of that for everybody here today. However, if you do not have if you do have an Android, um, Androids also have these little check marks. So if you don't see the word delivered, usually it's indicated by these check marks, and that's what's important about this class, right? That we usually, when we get a new phone, they don't tell us these things. We just obviously have to know them for some reason. So this is something, good to learn. So if you have an Android, these check marks and the way these check marks look like is how you know if your message was received by the other person. So one check mark means that yes, it was just sent, right? However, sent and delivered are different. Sent is like it was just sent through the waves of the phone lines and the connection system and so on. Delivered means that yes, the person actually got it and it's on their phone. And then read is that the person actually saw the message and looked at it. So sent means that it was sent over the Verizon phone line, AT&T, Optimum, whatever you have. Delivered means that the person actually got it on their phone. And read means that the person actually looked at your text message and, they're either going to respond or not going to respond. And this is specifically for Android. These check marks are not shown on the text messaging app for iPhone. If you have an iPhone, we just have the word delivered, and sometimes we may see the word read. We only see the word read on iPhone if the person who has an iPhone has turned on a specific feature in their phone where you can see read receipts on. So with iPhones, I don't want to get too complicated in this presentation, but everybody that has an iPhone, we all have a setting in our phone where we can turn on read receipts. What that means is we can turn on a feature where we can always let the other party know that we have read their text message when we saw their message. And it's a feature that you have to deliberately turn on. If not, you wouldn't see it. Does anybody have questions? I know I said a lot of things right there.
Do they know that it's red because you click on it?
If you opened up their text message, yes, they will know that you read it, especially for Androids.
Yeah, for Android.
Yeah,
But if
so
you don't click on it, then it won't
yeah,
show.
exactly. So, if you click on a text message from somebody, that's considered read. If it's sent to
If
your
you
phone,
don't want them to know it's red, don't click on it yet.
yeah, for Androids, yes. For iPhones, by default, if we click on a text message, they won't know that we read it for iPhones. You would have to deliberately go into your settings and turn on a feature that would let people know that we have read their text message. And if we have time, I could show you it, but I don't have a picture for that right now for iPhones. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay, so yeah, so before we get in, right, once again, for iPhones, by default, anytime we click a message, we will just see the word delivered. They won't say read. But if we go in settings and we turn on a feature, yes, when we click on messages, this delivered would change to read once we clicked on the person's text message. When I say click, I just mean like opening the conversation to read it. I don't mean like actually pressing down on the message or anything like that. I just mean looking at your phone and just reading it. Um, that's considered like clicking on it, like just being on this page and reading the text. Okay, so that was kind of like the little mini lesson on iPhone versus Android. So now we're gonna go over some features, some very basic features, and um, of course, people here today probably already know how to do this. So this is just very basic for people who may watch this video online, or maybe someone who still needs a bit help on this. And we're gonna go over how to send a text message, how to send pictures, save pictures, and how to use our voice to type. So if I'm going too slow, just let me know. I don't know how advanced everybody is in this presentation. Okay, so how do we send a text message in our iPhone? So right here is the iPhone messaging app, and we will have the same exact tutorial for Androids right after this slide. So this is the messaging app, right? This is the only messaging app that iPhones use unless you use WhatsApp. So if your messaging app does not look like this, then you probably have downloaded some other app on your phone. Um, and once again, right, if you see a number on your messaging app, of course, what that means is that's how many messages you have that you haven't looked at. So here in this slide, this person has 8 brand new messages that they haven't looked at. So if you see a number next to your message app, that is what that number means. And for it to go away, you have to read all 8 messages, or not, it's going to stay with the number 8. So you would have to go to each conversation. Sometimes it's like codes that we get sent, or like we paid an automatic bill, right? We get messages about that. Those are all considered messages. So how do we send a text message? So we go to this message app. And in the top right-hand corner is how we start a brand new conversation. Now, of course, if you are already having a conversation with somebody, right, you would just click on their name, like here on the screen, right? This person is talking to, I see 4 people on the screen right now. So obviously they could just continue the conversation by clicking on any of these 4 people. However, if you can't find somebody or you want to start a brand new conversation, you would always click on the button in the top upper right-hand corner, which is like a square and a pencil kind of looking icon. After we click on it, it should open up to this type of screen where we can type the person's name at the top, or we can type the person's phone number. It doesn't matter which one we decide to choose. And then right away at the bottom, right, is where we can start typing our text. And that's usually how well, that is how you send a text to somebody, especially to a brand new person that you haven't been talking to already. Any questions on that? Okay, so same thing. We're gonna just do the same thing for those that have Androids. So with an Android phone, your app may look like one of these two here. Uh, because with Android, I think they like switched to Google Messages recently. Before, if you had a Verizon, there was something called Samsung Messages, but now they want everybody to use Google Messages. So these are the apps that would look like on your Android phone. Once again, Android also has WhatsApp. So if you are using WhatsApp, right, that is for another time and presentation. This is for the standard regular messaging. If you're messaging somebody in the US, WhatsApp is mostly used for people who live international. These are the apps. Once we click on one of these apps, it is a bit similar to an iPhone. However, our button to start a brand new message is at the bottom right-hand corner. So that is where we would click on. Yours may be a smaller button. However, you will find a button at the bottom right-hand corner. It may not say start chat. It could say just compose. And it may just even be this little tiny icon that looks like a square with lines, but it all does the same thing. And I know this because on Tuesday, when I was going around the room, those that had Androids had different variations of what the button looked like, but it should be at the bottom right-hand corner. At the bottom right-hand corner, after you click on it, at the top of the screen, you have the option to type the person's name, their phone number, or even email address. Or with your finger, you can scroll down, right? And you can see all the people in your contact list. And you can click on somebody that way. So you have options. You can type their name at the top or scroll down the phone. Or scroll up, sorry, scroll up. And then once again, right, we would click on this here, the bar at this bottom space, and start typing our text. And that is how we send a message. Any questions on that from those that have Android? Okay, so let's continue. So now we're going to talk about photos because photos are a big question that I get all the time on my one-on-one appointments. How do I send and save photos in my text messages? Starting off with iPhones. Now, iPhones are created something very easy for us. That is a brand new feature, possibly that I think came out maybe 1 or 2 years ago. So if you haven't updated your phone in the past 2 years, you may not see this icon. So in your conversation with someone, right? So this person has opened their messaging app and they are reading their text with somebody. And this person has sent them a photo, right? So the other person has sent them a photo, not you, but the other party sent a photo. Next to the photo actually should have this new icon which is kind of like a square with an arrow pointing down. That is our save icon. So if you were to click on that icon, this photo of the flowers would be automatically downloaded into your photo library, and you wouldn't have to do anything else. If you do not see this icon, it's still very simple. All you would have to do is hold down on the picture of the flowers, and you will also get the option to save. And the icon would also look like this with a square and an arrow pointing down. So you would just hold down the photo and you will get options that appear right underneath the photo that says forward it or save it. And you would click the save option. And then the next time you open your photo library, this picture will be in your library as the most saved on your library. Anybody have questions on that? Okay. And then for those that have Androids, right? If you have an Android and someone sends you a photo, very similar to iPhone, you will press down on the photo. It doesn't have to be on the middle. You could hold it down anywhere on the photo. Press down on it. And at the bottom of the photo, you should have two icons that look like this. And it is the same exact icon on an iPhone, actually, which is the square and an arrow pointing down. And that is how we save a photo. Next to this save icon is actually a share. So if you wanted to forward the picture to a friend or family member, that's what this other icon is next to the save. Any questions on that from those that have Androids?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yes.
Where does it save it to?
It saves it to your gallery. So wherever you take pictures, and every time you take a picture on your phone, it goes to the gallery, and then this will also go to your gallery.
Oh, oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Any other questions?
Just my last question. If
Go ahead.
this one, you're probably not my last one, but so once it saves it on the gallery, then if we and I don't want to get, I know you don't want to get into this, but just a quick question. Does that then go into your cloud once you
If
upload your
if
cloud? Or just
you're
in the gallery?
if you're currently saving your photos to the cloud, it should go automatically to the cloud. If you already are saving your photos to the cloud. So that's a feature you would have to check in your settings and see if in the cloud settings your photos are turned on to go to the cloud.
And then with the share, could you just share it with your own email? Like
Yes,
that?
the share icon, it should open up to options of how you can share it. And it should show you the mail app that you use, whether that's Gmail or whatever app you use. So if you click on that, yes, it should give you options of how you can share that photo.
Oh, this is great information. Thank you.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about sending a photo for both iPhone and Android. So once again, very basic, but always good to refresh. So I have two pictures here on iPhone and two orange arrows, as you can see. The reason why I have this is because, once again, when I did this class on Tuesday, some people in the audience had older iPhones, and I do not know what iPhones you guys have here in the presentation. So, once again, we can tell very easily if we all go to our phone and we open up a text message with somebody. So, right now this person is in their text messaging and they are texting somebody currently. And they're in the conversation with somebody and they're about to send them a text message. And before you send somebody a text message, you have icons, right? So if we look at these orange arrows, some people here today will have a plus sign. The plus sign are for the newer iPhones, so those that have updated their phones. If you do not see this plus sign when you're about to text somebody in your iPhone, then you will have the picture on the left, which is kind of like a triangle circle icon. And that's going to tell you what type of iPhone you have and whether or not your iPhone is like updated, right? So the plus sign, it could be from anybody that has a iPhone 10 and above. Not even iPhone 10, maybe like an iPhone 11 and above. The rest, you're most likely probably still have the iPhone 8, iPhone 6, 7. There was two people in the audience that did have this, so I just wanted to be sure that I included everybody. They both do the same thing. It's just the newer update with the iPhone, they condensed it with a plus sign. Okay. So hopefully everybody that has an iPhone knows which one they have. If not, let me know. So anyways, when you do send the picture, you have to either click that plus sign, or if you have an older phone, you need to click this icon that looks like a circle with a triangle. Does anybody here have that circle with a triangle? Or does everybody just have the plus?
I have the plus, but I don't understand, when do you use the plus? I mean, if I type in a message, then I get a blue arrow to send.
Right, so the plus sign is going to have multiple options that you can do. So one of them is going to be sending a picture. So if you wanted to send a photo to your friends in your text message, you would click on that plus icon. So let's say you took a picture recently and you wanted to send that picture to your friend, you have to click this plus sign.
Oh, well, the way I have been doing it is I just go to my photos and I select that picture, and then it gives me a way, one of those
Yeah,
boxes.
that's another way you can do it.
Okay,
But this
okay.
is if you're already in the messaging app.
Mhm.
This is another way you can do it.
So what does it do? Send you to your photos?
So yeah, I'm going to show you right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just wanted to make sure if everyone had that plus
Mhm.
sign first before I continued. But I'll continue. So, yes, if you click on that plus sign, there's actually a lot of things that happens when you click the plus sign. If you look here on the screen, there's many things that you can do where we will actually come back to this plus sign in a few moments. But yes, in your text messaging, if you click that plus sign, it will give you an option to look at your photos, right? It says it right here. It says camera, photos, stickers, audio, all other important things that you can do. Obviously, we're gonna focus right now on just where it says photos. So if you click the plus sign and then you clicked on here that says photos, yes, it will open up your gallery right there in your text messages where you can select pictures that you want to send right there in the group chats or in the conversation or so on. So once again, we click the plus sign, then we clicked on photos, and it should open up our photos, all the pictures that we have took. And we can tap on them to send them.
How do you get out of it if you're not, like right now I have it open and I'm not sending anything? How do I get out?
We could swipe it down, I believe.
Right, you can, you
Yeah,
can. Mhm.
and it goes away. Any questions from anybody else on that? So the way Naomi said it is perfectly fine, right? You could go to your actual photo library and you could find the photo and send it that way. But right, this way is if you're already in a conversation with somebody and you're talking to somebody, this is just a faster way to send a picture because then you would have to leave your text messages, open up your photos, and then send it, right?
Right.
This plus sign is basically a shortcut to open up your photo gallery right there and then when you're texting somebody. Any questions on that? Okay. So yes, Androids do have the same exact thing. So with an Android, they also have the plus sign, right?
Second.
Oh, if you have an Android account, or sorry, Android phone, and you were texting somebody, right? So this is a screenshot of a conversation. Somebody is texting somebody. And at the bottom of the screen where you're about to send the text message, you also have that plus sign where you can click on it and you should have an option that says photos or gallery. And you can also click on that and it will open up all your photos that you have in your phone to send it to that person. So I would say this is just a shortcut, right? If you're in a conversation with somebody, find that plus sign when you're about to text somebody, and you will have options to open up your camera or to open up your physical photos and send it to somebody. If you clicked on camera, it would just open your camera so you could take a picture right there and then. That's only if you want to, take a live picture. Like let's say you were at the park or something and you saw a flower and you wanted to take that picture right now and send it, then you would click on camera. Photos are for pictures you want to send to somebody that you took last week, last month, whatever the case may be, and send it to the person. Does that make sense to everybody?
Okay, so that's instead of you opening up your photos and going through it.
Right.
When you click plus, that will just open up the whole photos?
If you click on plus for an Android, I don't have a picture of it, but if you click plus on the Android, you will get options just like the iPhone where it'll say camera, photos,
Oh,
location, and other features that you can also do. But you would want to click on the one that either says photos or gallery. I'm not sure which word they use, but that's what you want to find.
oh, look, and there it says RCS messaging, just what we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
now
Rich.
I know what it means. Thank you.
Okay. So let's just talk about this, and then if you have any other questions that I didn't go over, we'll talk about that. So this is kind of the last for today, which is voice, right? So has anyone actually used their voice to speak into the phone and to type instead of typing?
I did.
Who's that? Elizabeth?
Was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I actually use my voice too, because sometimes, right, we might get tired of typing all the time. It takes a lot of energy. It's also really good for those that may have, disability, maybe their hands shake,
And
maybe their
vision.
yeah, vision, like yep, just with vision, right? So this is why iPhone and Android both have this feature available for us. So if you have an iPhone, once again, we're still in the messaging app. This is the how it looks like when we're about to text somebody. So you have to be in a conversation with somebody to see this screen. And at the bottom, when you're about to text somebody on your keyboard, you should see this microphone icon at the bottom right-hand side. So once again, we are in the messaging app and we have clicked on a conversation with somebody. And at the bottom where our keyboard is, we should find this microphone. If you do have an older iPhone, right? The microphone may not be at the bottom, right? It may be somewhere here at the top of the keyboard. I figured that out as well for those that have older phones. If you don't see it here, it may be somewhere at the top. But anyways, it does the same exact thing. It doesn't matter if you have an older iPhone, they both work. It existed since the iPhone came out. This was always an accessibility feature that they had. So anyways, if you click on that microphone feature, you don't want to turn it on right now. It might pick up my voice, but if you click on that and start speaking, basically everything that you're saying will be typed out for you and ready to send. So, and it does it in live time. So instead of typing, "Hi, how are you?" you can click that microphone icon and say, "Hi, how are you?" And it will type it as you're speaking, right? So you could say a whole paragraph and the phone will pick it up and type it out for you. And for the microphone to turn off, all you have
Hi,
to
Pat, how you doing?
is just tap it again. And I already heard somebody try it out. So you turn it on, you tap it to turn it off, you tap it again, and it will turn off again. Um, you do have to speak a little slow, right? So if you're talking really fast, it may not pick up all that you're saying. It's also not really good with accents. So if you do have an accent, you may need to speak a little slower, right? For it to pick up your words because it may jumble it a bit or say a different word. It's not like 100% accurate, right? So don't get like frustrated with it too much. It's not perfect, but it does help a bit, especially if maybe you're just like running late or something that's very quick and you couldn't really text it. You just wanted to send it right away. Like, "Yes, I'm coming in 10 minutes." Something like that. It's really good for a quick message using your voice. Anybody have questions on that?
I did notice one thing with that,
Yeah,
just
go
to let people know that, you may wanna check before you send it, because for me, and it's Android, it can change the words that I said, or didn't get the right word, and I
Mm-hmm.
had one friend contact me and say, "Are you?"
You got cut off. Yeah, she said she was having bad connection. But I'm pretty sure what she was gonna say is that yes, that is true that when you are using the microphone feature, it can change your wording. And like there's been instances where people are like, "Well, what's wrong with you?" or something, because it's like it says a whole completely different thing than what you have said. Especially, let's say you're watching TV and you're speaking and your TV is really loud. The microphone could pick up your TV and it might say the dialogue of the conversation of the TV when you're trying to speak into it. So, I mean, it's not like it's always going to do that. That's very rare moments, but she was saying like just read the message before you send it because it may be a bit jumbled. And once again, those that have Androids, the microphone, I'm circling it in red right now. It's usually at the top of the keyboard for those that have Androids. And it's indicated by this little microphone at the top. And it does the same exact thing, which it says your voice. It types your voice for you. Anybody have any other questions about that?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes when I get a message, I don't know what I touch, but it reads it to me rather than my reading it myself. So I don't know what I'm touching to make it read for me. Do you know what that is?
That sounds like an
So much better
accessibility
because I
feature. It sounds like an accessibility feature that you may have turned on, like not voice, it could be voice. It has to be something with voice. Hold on, let me um,
It doesn't always happen. It's just sometimes I'll touch something and all of a sudden it'll read it and then I won't be able to figure out what I touched. So I don't know why it happened.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to see on my end if I can find anything. I know it's in the accessibility feature, so if you go to your settings and accessibility, it might, and most likely you may have something turned on for people who have like hard of vision that it reads out the words for them.
Also, could you go over just for 1 second what you said before you did the plus on the text message? What you said about saving a picture?
Yeah, so let me just see. You might you oh yeah, well, also to ask for your other question, it says that you may have talk back or text to speech turned on. So you may want to look for that in your settings in accessibility. Talk back or text to speech. You will want to turn that off. But yeah, with saving a message, a photo, right? What it we went over that you would hold down the picture, and when you hold down the picture, at the bottom, we'll have a arrow pointing down to save it, or it has the share icon where you can share a photo.
So you're saving a photo from a text message, you mean?
Yes, and it will save to your library.
Thank you.
Any other questions about today? Or things that I may have not gone over?
Also, when somebody sends me a text and then I want to go find it, sometimes I don't remember if it came on Messenger or it came on text or it came on their contact message. Is there any way to figure out what that is?
So you're saying that sometimes you get a notification, but you're not sure where it came from?
Yeah, my sister sent me a text, and then when I went back to try to find it, I didn't remember. I couldn't find it, and eventually I think I found it in the phone messages, but I thought it had been in the text.
So, I mean, usually when we get notified, if we swipe down on the top of our phone, usually it will show us a preview of our message and the app it came from. So like for example, like I don't know, let's just use this picture as an example. Like if we swiped down all the way at the top of our phone, we would get it would show us like notifications, like previews of our message, and it would show us the icon of the app of where it's from. That's the only thing I could think of that could try to help you locate where the message came from. But usually most of the time, text will only come from two apps, our regular text messages, or if we're using like a WhatsApp, and then unless we email people regularly, it may be in your emails. But most of the time, there isn't any other app for messaging.
Thank you.
Tabitha, how long do the texts stay there? How long do they last?
Text messages stay like forever on your phone unless you delete them. Are you talking about when you delete them, how long it stays?
No, sometimes I try to go back to see what the person had sent me a text and it's not there.
So, I mean, unless you have something specifically turned on, let me see.
Because someone sent me a phone number, and today, in fact, I went back to look for it because I knew they had sent it, but there's no record of any text that they had sent.
Well, I don't know if like because that's like personal information. I don't know if that it may have come with like it deletes automatically. But usually with text, like they don't delete on its own. Like it should stay in your photo in your phone unless you
Okay.
delete it. And then after 30 days, it will permanently delete.
Oh, okay. So after 30 days, it
Yeah,
would
30
go.
days. So if it happened before 30 days, I would say I'm not sure why it would have gone unless the person unsent it or something like that.
No, it was there, but I went back and it may be more than 30 days. So that would explain where it disappeared.
Now, you said someone could unsend it. Can someone send you a text and then pull it back?
Yes.
Oh, can
Um,
you tell us about that?
So that is a feature on iPhone, and I was trying to find it on Androids, and I was getting mixed like signals. Like apparently Android can do it, but it has to have RCS enabled. And that's like a whole thing I don't want to get into, but in the next 5 minutes. But yes, with both Android and iPhone, apparently, with Android, yes. If you send a text message, you can unsend it if it's been less than 15 minutes and the other party has not seen the message in that 15 minutes.
Mm.
So if you hold down on a message, let's see, we have 5 minutes, so I'll just show you real quickly. It's supposed to be the same for Android if you have RCS in. So at the bottom of that PowerPoint presentation, like you saw that it said RCS. Um, hold on. That's just okay. Let's just see this real quick.
Touch and hold a message until the menu appears.
Okay, you see, they held down on the text message, and you can see that right there it says undo send. It says reply, undo send. But
And that was just holding down on the message?
that's holding down on the message for iPhone. For
Oh,
Android,
okay.
this is for iPhone. If you hold down the message for Android, the icon should be at the top of the phone and it should have a little pencil icon. Um, And once again, this has to be 15 minutes when you send it, and the other person who you send it to um did not look at it
I'm
yet.
actually gonna test it. Can you say that? So let's say I just send a message now, right? And then where do I press?
So if you hold down on the message, look for at the top of the screen and see if you see any specific icons for those that have Android.
Oh, there is a delete actually.
And do you see like a pencil
Yeah.
icon?
No, it was a trash can.
Was
And
it?
I pushed it and it said delete. So yeah, it just did it. But there was a trash can icon.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
pencil should have edits, so that's why I don't know if it was real or fake with what I saw. I mean, it looked very real. I saw a
but
tutorial.
this is a brand new update what I just got
Okay.
on the Android. So I don't know if that might be part of it. But when I just put test, right? I sent to a friend and I wrote test and then I held on like you said. And then when I did, it popped up all these different symbols, and then one was a trash can, so I clicked that, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I would have to like watch some videos for you
So the
guys.
trash can delete it too. Maybe there's another one.
Yeah, let's see what your friend says if they got it.
No, it says already. I can look at my texts. It's gone.
But for
It deleted from
iPhones,
my whole thing after I sent it.
everybody, it's not a trash can, okay? So you have to click on the words that say undo, send.
Well, that's great to know about.
Yes. Anybody have last questions for
Yes.
today?
So if you send it, you can undo it, and if they send it, they can undo it too.
Yeah, this is a feature for anybody, yeah. They could do the same thing on their end. They could undo a message as well.
But only if you didn't read it.
Right, exactly. And 15 minutes. So if it's been more than 15 minutes and you hold down on the message, you will not get the option to undo send. It just disappears. Same thing if the person read it.
Now that feature is not on email. You can't unsend an email, right?
You actually can, but it's actually lower than 15 minutes. It's actually, I think, like 2 or 3 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah, there is an option to undo a email. I think it's only I think it's only specific emails. I know Outlook has it, and I will have to do more research if Gmail has it. And I think iCloud has it too. But I can answer that for you next week.
I haven't, when you say that we can save the photos from a text, but
Yep.
if we don't save the photos, where are those photos stored?
It's just stored in your text message, so
Oh,
it will
just
just live
because I
there.
was thinking it takes up a lot of memory, doesn't it?
It
What if we
will
want to
take up
delete it?
memory, yes. If photos and videos that you send to one another and you don't delete your text messages, yes, that takes up space on your phone.
Mm. So there's nowhere to just delete just the photo?
You can delete the photo. If you press down on the photo, you should also get a garbage
Oh,
can icon.
thank you. Because some people send me these little videos and I'm thinking, oh, you're taking up all my memory. But I don't want to delete the whole text thread. But okay, great. Thank you for that.
Okay, so today's class is going to be about mastering messaging apps. So I did do part 1 last month, and once this video is finished for today, I'll upload both of the parts on YouTube so you can see both part 1 and part 2. So today we are going to be focusing on using your phone or your iPad, not necessarily computers or tablets. And we are going to be focusing on these apps here that you see on the screen. And we're not going to really be moving from any of these apps. So if you want to follow along, just use your iPhone or your Android and go to your messaging apps. And I'm just going to show you tips and tricks that you may have not used before. You may have used it or not, but we're just going to go over some things that you can do on these apps. And we're going to go over searching, how to use different features in these applications. And then if you guys have questions, of course, you can always say it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask me a question. Okay, and I think everybody's here now. People were coming in. All right. So the first thing we are going to talk about is searching. So once again, this class is going to be all about tips and tricks, right? Of how to navigate in your text messaging app. So a really great feature that I'm not sure if many people use is the search feature. So in both your iPhone and your Android, when you go to your text messages and you look at all of your text messages, all the way in the top is a search bar. And in the search bar, you can actually type um, anything that you may have said in a conversation previously. So let's say you're trying to find order confirmation that you purchased something. Maybe a friend told you an address of where you guys were going to meet up. Maybe you want to remember an appointment you scheduled, right? If you receive that in a text message, you can find it again by searching for it. So in this example, the font may be a bit small, but this person in their search, they typed in Domino's order. And immediately, when you type up a specific phrase or word, your text messages try to find that specific text message that has those words. So the next time you're struggling, trying to find a message that you can't remember who you sent it to, or you don't remember exactly the details of it, you can literally just put a word that you remember from that conversation, and it will try to pull up the message again. It will try to find it for you. So I recommend you don't have to even put the person's name, right? All you have to do is a phrase or a word in the search bar, and it will find it for you. As long as you didn't delete those text messages, it should appear in the top. With Android, right, you can also do the same exact thing. So in an Android phone, if you are in your text messages, instead of actually a search bar, right, there is a search magnifying glass. So if you look at the screen right here, they have a little magnifying glass icon I put with the orange arrow. That is where you click on and you could search for a phrase or a word. Um, Android actually makes it a bit easier because they give you filters, like if you want a specific picture or specific video, is it a place? So Android actually is a bit better than iPhone in this case because you could find it easier. Does anybody have any questions on searching messages on any of these devices? Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is emojis. And the reason I'm just going over different features. I know every time I have appointments with members, some people don't use it, some people do. I see Alicia's here. She uses emoji sometimes, but not everybody really likes it. So basically, right, this is common now in the text messaging world. People add this in their conversations when they're typing to bring a bit of emotion into the conversation. So basically, sometimes when you just say a sentence in a conversation, we can't really tell the tone of how you really feel. So people add emojis to the sentence so then the other person can tell, you're feeling sad, you're feeling happy, or so on. People add emojis. And they're not necessary to use, but it's why it helps people avoid any misunderstandings. It kind of softens the tone when you're texting somebody. So if you have an iPhone and you're texting someone, right? So once again, I am in a conversation with somebody. My keyboard is at the bottom. I'm ready to send somebody a text message. All the way at the bottom left-hand side, we should have a little smiley face icon. The smiley face icon is what will open up to your emoji keyboard, and you will see all the different types of smiley faces. They have pets, animals, flags, and other food and animals and all that's all different types of emojis they have. Newer iPhones, if you have an iPhone 15 or 16, you could actually create your own emoji. So you can actually type exactly what you want the emoji to be. Like you can say a dog wearing a hat and it will create one for you. But that's for the newer iPhones. And yeah, so the little smiley face icon is always at the bottom left-hand corner. You can click on it to see this keyboard and click it again to go back to the regular text messaging keyboard. And if you're having trouble finding this, once again, this is in your text messages. When you're about to send somebody a text, you should see the keyboard at the bottom and you will have this feature. For those that have Android phones, it's very easy as well. They also are indicated by the smiley face icon. However, the smiley face icon should be right next to the icon when you're about to send your message to someone. So you're typing your message, you're ready to send it off, but before you send it off, there is a little smiley face icon right next to the paper plane sending icon. If you don't see that, I would suggest looking for the smiley face icon also on your keyboard. It should be there too in both locations. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Okay, so let's move on now to other stuff that they have, which is the voice messages. So I did talk about this very briefly in the other part 1 of this class. And basically, with voice messages, this is how we can actually send a voice message. So using our voice instead of typing, right? So in part 1, I talked about how we can use our voice to type out the message. That's something different. That's just speaking in the microphone and the text will appear for us. Voice messages are different. Voice messages that someone will actually hear a recording of your voice. So these are great for people who just don't like typing at all, right? Like you don't want to go and change the text if it's misspelled incorrectly. You just like to send recordings of your voice. These recordings could be very long. You could go up to 10 minutes. The other person on the other side will be able to hear it. They can pause the voice recording. They can speed it up. And it stays in their text messages, right? It doesn't get deleted. So it's not something that disappears. So once again, all of this today is in the text messages. We're not leaving these applications that you see here on the screen. And in an iPhone, once again, we're going to click on a conversation that we have with somebody. And we're going to focus on this plus sign symbol if you have an iPhone. The plus sign symbol is actually a really great tool to use. Is going to have a bunch of different things that you can do in text messages. And it is where you are going to find how to send recordings of your voice to someone. So once we click on a conversation, and we click on the plus sign, it should open up to a bunch of different features that we can do. But what we are going to focus on is audio. When we click on audio, or if you did decide to click on audio, right away, it's going to start recording your voice. So I would suggest to not click on it if you're not ready to send a message to someone, because there right away it will start, listening for your voice. Any questions so far from anybody? Let me know if I'm going too fast and I could go slower. So once again, this is an iPhone, right? So we click on a conversation with someone. We click on the plus sign symbol. And it should open up to all these different features that we have. If you do not find audio right away, you can use your finger and slide up, and it will give you different other features. Audio probably is underneath something else. So you can just use your finger and swipe up, and these options will scroll up, and you will see all the other features that you can do in your text messages. But for this case, we do want to focus on audio. Oh, I don't have them for, okay, I didn't have them for Google Messages. Let me see, hold on for a second. I'm gonna see something. I didn't create a slide for Google. I'm gonna come back for Google I'm gonna come back at the ending for Android phones on that, because I'm pretty sure Android phones can also send audio messages.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you, if you do an audio message, can you delete it if you realize you didn't really want to send that or it didn't come out right?
Yeah, so as soon as you click audio, it is gonna start recording, right?
Right.
And once you're finished, there is a stop button and there's a X. So you can actually listen to it, and if you don't like it, you hit the X and you can start all over again.
Okay.
So you
that comes up when you start. It will come up on the screen, these features.
right, the X feature will come up when you hit the stop button. You'll see a square, which means stop, and then it'll ask you, do you want to send it? It'll show you the little arrow to send or the X to delete.
Okay. Good.
Any question from anyone else about that? Okay. So I am gonna go back because it's still very early. I will come back for those that have Android phones and discuss voice messaging with Androids. I didn't create a little slide for you guys, but we will go back, don't worry. So the next thing that I want to discuss is GIFs. So you may have or may have not seen this before.
Excuse me, Tabitha,
yes, go ahead.
I had trouble unmuting myself.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
But I find in my messages that there's a voicemail that I sent to my on the phone calling her. I left a voicemail, and there's a copy of it in the messages. How did that happen?
Is it in a conversation with someone?
No, it's I called her. Her phone went to messages, and I left a voicemail, and then it's showing up here. Look, she's having problems with her phone. Maybe it's on her end.
Yeah, I would have to like physically see it because I'm a bit confused, but
Okay, okay.
maybe I don't know if you could send me a screenshot if you know how to do that, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could see it more in detail.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't, yeah, your voice messages, unless like you recorded it in your text messages, it shouldn't be there, your voicemails.
Well, I have a screenshot of what do I send it to? Email or a message?
Yeah, it's my email.
Mm-hmm.
I could put in the chat, but I've sent you emails before.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what,
Okay.
yeah, you could go ahead and send me that, I'll check it out. So
Mm-hmm.
to continue, right, the next thing I want to discuss is GIFs. So once again, this class is all about all the different features that you can do in your text messages. Some of them may not be that useful to you, or you may say, I'm never going to use it, but we're just going to go over the meaning of everything. So GIFs, right? You may have seen it, you may have not. They're really great for birthdays, cheering somebody up, just being playful, right? You can add it into a text message conversation. So if you look right here on the screen, this is an example of a GIF, right? It's a moving image or short moving video. And basically that's what it does, right? It moves for like a second on loop. And they have different versions of all these type of gifts, but most of the time, you could use it for holidays, right? Think of it like a short little gift card you're sending to someone, or like a birthday card, something like that, but it's a moving image. Think of it like that, but virtual, right? So if like 4th of July just passed, so they have gifts on 4th of July, they'll have it on Christmas and Hanukkah and all that different stuff. You can use it for that sort of way. And once again, in terms of iPhone, everything that you're really going to need for today's class to find all these special features will be in the plus sign for the iPhone. So once again, if you are in a conversation with someone, you're about to text a person and you click on the plus sign, you want to find images. Images is basically GIFs. I mean, they don't really call it GIFs. They use the word images, but it's the same thing. Once you click on images, you will see that there is a bunch of different moving images that you can use of different facial expressions that you can choose from. And you can even search for a specific GIF, right? Depending on the holiday or whatever it may be. Birthday, you could say birthday girl, birthday boy, whatever it may be. And there will most likely be a GIF for you that you can use. They have thousands of them. Any questions on that in case anyone is having trouble unmuting themselves?
How do you get out of images?
So if you did click on images and you see it, all you have to do is kind of go back to texting, like writing your text message,
Oh, okay.
and the images will go away.
Okay.
Let me just go back for a second to this page. Okay, yeah, here it is. I'm gonna use this picture, for example, and I'm going to use this laser. No, I'm gonna use a pen. So this is the Android. This is an Android phone where I am right now. And I'm actually in a conversation with someone. And you can see that they have their emojis open. And I'm going to, can I write? Okay, yeah. I'm going to do a circle at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully we can see it. But at the bottom of the screen, the person has clicked on the happy face, right? And what I said was happy faces mean emojis. But if you look on the row at the bottom, there's also a section that says GIF. GIF is what we just discussed, which are the moving images. So that is where you would find it on an Android. So an Android does not have the plus symbol that iPhones have. So I told everyone here today, for iPhones, everything that you need to find, you go through the plus symbol first. For Androids, you want to look at your keyboard when you're texting someone. On your keyboard, if you look at the bottom of your keyboard or even the happy face, which opens up the emojis, it should open up all the other features, including stickers and GIFs, which are like the fun moving images. So you want to focus on where the keyboard is. And if you still can't find it, I will open up a video tutorial at the ending just in case, so we can see someone actually with an Android phone navigating everyone here today if you can't find it still. Any questions on that, specifically from those that have Android phones? Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so the next thing that is also important, and I think, hold on, let me just make sure. Yes, I do have this for Google Android phones as well, is pinning. So many times when I meet with members, we open up their text messaging apps, and at the top of the screen, they have a whole entire screen at the top of people's faces, right? So if we look at this picture right here, this person is in their text messages and there's circles at the top of people, right? And many of the times people don't even realize how that even got up there. But basically that is a pin. So pinning is when you put your favorite people at the top of your text messages. So you can easily find them and find the conversation easily. So if you see that you have huge circles at the top of your screen for those that have iPhones, that's because you accidentally pinned them. And how do we pin somebody, or how did that even get up there? So every time you look at your conversations with someone, if you hold down the conversation, so right now this person isn't in their text, right? And they have a group chat called Dog Park Crew. Then they have a friend named Bradley. So what they did was they used their finger and they held down on the conversation. And you actually will get features of what to do. And the first one will be pin. And pinning someone is basically, once again, putting them on the top of the screen as a big circle so you could find them easier. And to unpin them is very easy. You also hold it down again, and the word unpin should also show up. Any questions on that? And once again, right, we're pinning the conversation. We're not going into the conversation and selecting a text message that they sent to us, right? We're looking at the screen that has everybody's name, everybody's conversation. So if we have friends in our phone, mom, dad, brother, sister, right? We can see a list of everybody. And we're choosing whoever's our favorite, holding it down, and they will be underneath. When we hold it down, it will say the word pin, and it will appear at the top of the screen if we decide to pin them. Any questions on that from from anybody in the class? Okay. So if you have an Android, once again, we are in our conversations with our friends, right? We're reading our conversations with people, or we can see that we have conversations with people, and we hold down on a conversation. So this person held down on this conversation that said sister. And when they held it down, a little blue check mark appeared. And once the check mark appeared, that means that that conversation is selected. And at the top of the screen, we have some options. We want to click on the little pin icon. It actually looks like a push pin. And that is how we can put that text message always at the top of our screen to find it easier. And this is once again for Android Google phones. So it's the same rules, right? We held it down. iPhones, it will actually show the word pin. For Androids, you want to find the actual symbol that looks like a push pin at the top of the screen. And this is just an easier way to find the conversation. So if you do text somebody every day, or maybe you're somebody that texts multiple people every day, right? This would be helpful because then you can always find their conversation faster. Does anyone have questions on that?
I have a question on the other one. On the
Yes.
I had people pinned, and they used to get a mark when they wrote me, and then it stopped. I used to get a little sign by their name that they wrote me.
You mean like the blue dot?
Yeah. But then
So
it stopped.
that could either mean that you turned off your notifications.
Okay.
So that would mean you have to go to your settings,
All right.
Alicia.
Okay.
And then you would have to go to in your settings, there is a section I think called messages.
Okay.
Oh no. No, you go to settings, notifications, and then text messages.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that allow notifications is turned on.
All
So
right.
it needs to have green, like the green button needs to be flicked on.
Okay. Great. Good. Thank you. And the other question is they say use SMS or GMS when you're sending something.
So SMS is short messaging system. And SMS applies to people when you're texting them, either if they have an Android and you have an iPhone, that will be strictly SMS.
Okay.
Or if you have bad connection, then it will go straightly to SMS.
And the other
But
DMS?
if I don't know, I never heard of DMS, but
DMS. Like they give you a choice of two.
SMS and there's iMessage. So iMessage is an iPhone and an iPhone.
Okay.
So I will be uploading part 1 of this class with part 2,
Okay.
hopefully today. And in part 1, we did discuss SMS versus iMessage. So iMessage is when an iPhone texts another iPhone, and you'll know that you're texting an iPhone because the conversations are in blue.
Okay.
If you're using SMS, you will see that the conversations are gray and green.
Okay. Good. Everything helps. Okay. I'll watch it.
Any other questions from anyone else?
I tried to tap on the chat to look for the pin coming up. And on some of the text that happened, and I was able to put that person, you know, as a favorite, but others didn't. When I pressed it, what comes up, it doesn't say pin, it just says reply, add sticker, copy, translate, and more. How is it that it works on
So
some?
that's because you are probably holding down a text message and not the conversation. When you hold down like a text, so if someone says
Yeah,
hello to you and you hold that down, that
yeah.
will not pin it. You have to leave that page and go back to the page that shows everybody. So like mom, dad, sister, brother, you have a list of everybody's conversation like here.
Oh, you're saying, oh, it has to be several people.
No, what I'm saying is, so if we look here on the screen of the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah,
This person has, different conversations with people, right? Dog,
uh-huh,
Park, Bradley. You have to be on this page to hold down a specific conversation. You were actually inside of the conversation and you were holding down a
uh-huh,
text message of what a person was telling you.
right.
You need to hold down the conversation. So
Oh,
you have to go back one page, make sure it says messages at the top of the screen, make sure you see the search bar at the top. That's how you
uh-huh.
know you're on the right page. And then
Oh, okay.
you can press down on somebody.
Oh, I see. I have to be on that first message page where it says,
Correct.
aha, okay, okay. Yeah, I didn't understand that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then the next one I have is strictly only for iPhones. It's not on Androids as of yet. I tried to look for Androids and it was a very old video on YouTube from February 2024. So I think it's a bit outdated. So if I find any updates on it, I will let everyone know, or I will add it to the video if I can. But basically, this is muting a conversation. So what does that mean, muting a conversation, right? Muting a conversation is basically like, let's say you're in a group chat or maybe your friend texts you a lot, right? You can mute that conversation. So maybe you're tired of your phone always ringing, right? Ding, 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 with all the new text messages that you're getting. Or maybe you're at a Broadway play, you're at lunch, and you just want peace. You don't want to be on your phone. So you can actually mute conversations so you won't hear the ring or the ding of the text message. So you'll still get the text message, right? It will still come through, but your phone will not buzz or ring when the person texts you. That's what muting a conversation is. And muting a conversation for an iPhone, all you have to do is swipe left on the conversation. And you don't want to swipe it so hard. If you do swipe it all the way, you will actually end up deleting the conversation. So please swipe it slowly and you will see an actual purple icon with a bell and a line slashed through it. That means mute, this purple icon. So this person swiped it very slowly to the left, and then he or she tapped on the purple icon. And if you do mute somebody, it's the same thing. You can swipe it to the left and click on the purple to unmute the person. So once again, people use this if they're out in public, they don't want to hear their phone ringing all the time. This is how they can have some, quietness. you still get the message and so on.
Tabitha, I'm not clear on that. If I just pick any conversation and I hit that mutes the entire phone?
No, it only mutes that conversation. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you're muting, if you have a sister or brother and they text you a lot, it will mute your brother or sister, but not your whole phone.
Okay. Okay.
And you could always unmute it, right? You don't have to stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. Okay. Any questions on muting conversations? Okay, so what was the thing? There was one thing that I had with Google that oh yeah, voice messages. Any other questions from anybody as I research Google Messages sending audio? Does anybody have any like questions that happens in their text messages that something may happen that they want more instruction on? If a message doesn't come through, anything that it may be regarding messages, the chat is now open to you guys. Let me see if anyone's speaking. Nothing concerning for anybody. Okay.
Might be trying to figure out how.
So we're gonna just watch this real quick.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
You delete your text messages?
So that's a good question. Thank you, Alicia. So deleting text messages is important depending on, how much space you have on your phone. So I would say if you are someone who, gets messages that you don't have enough space on your phone, you do want to delete conversation. So I mean the actual whole conversation with someone, not actually just a text message. Like let's say they just send you hello, you deleting the word hello is not going to save space. You have to delete the full conversation with that person. Because yes, it will clear up some space on your phone. And that's the only reason why I would recommend to do it. If not, if you're someone who has other things that are taking up more space, it may not really matter. So maybe it's emails that you have more of, or maybe you're always on WhatsApp instead, right? So if it's text messages, I would say yes to delete it. Does that help
Okay.
you?
Yeah, and you just hit that button after you scroll it, it says delete. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's the same thing. You could hold it down and it will say the word delete.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying. So right now we're trying to, for those that have Google Android phones, we're looking at a video to see how to send voice messages, but this person's not that helpful. So I'm gonna try another video. Anybody here actually have a Google Android phone? That could probably help. See, I have an iPhone, so every time we go over Google Android, what I do is I find videos for you guys of people using Android phones, and that's how I find information for you guys. Because when I have an iPhone, right, I just use my own phone to help you guys. But I'm not that clear. I'm gonna have to do more research for you guys in terms of voice messaging for Android. Any last thing for anybody? Once again, I'm gonna quickly just go over, I'm show you what you will see for. Any other questions anybody has?
Question here.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not sure, I missed part of the presentation, but did you do anything about printing out text messages? I need to know how to print out text messages.
Printing that, no, I did not do that. What type of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
An iPhone. So in terms of printing, that's going to be a bit difficult in terms of there's no button to print, right? So let's say you wanted to take a picture, print like a conversation that you have with somebody. The easiest way to do that is basically screenshotting the conversations and then printing that conversation. So, do you know how to screenshot a conversation?
I do on the laptop. I'm not sure that I know how to do it on the iPhone.
So, in an iPhone, to screenshot a conversation, you would click on the any of the volume. Oh, sorry, hold on. Well, what type of phone do you have? iPhone do you have? And that would be
iPhone,
easier.
I believe it's 14.
Okay, because I have a 16 and I might give you the wrong instructions if I tell you what I do. So I'm going to look at it real quick. Okay, so you're gonna click the volume up button as well as the button you click on to turn on your phone, which is on the right-hand side of your phone. So if you
Right.
click on the volume up and the button on the right-hand side, it will take a screenshot of your
Oh,
text messages.
I got emergency call.
Don't hold it down. It's a quick,
Oh, okay. Let
yeah.
me try it again. Cancel that and then do a quick click.
Yeah, you have to press them at the same time. So the volume up button and the button on the right-hand side.
Okay, here goes. Okay, yes, it made a screenshot. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you got it. So once you do that, the screenshot will be in your photos. And
Oh,
from there is where you can actually print the conversation.
okay.
So you did your screenshot. If you go to your photo or your library with all your pictures, it should be the most recent picture now in there.
Right.
And at the bottom left-hand corner, there should be a square with an arrow going up, which is the share button.
Wait a minute now. Square with an arrow going up. Okay. Square with an arrow go. Oh, yeah. And I click that.
You click that.
Right.
I'm trying to show you stuff on the screen too. Once you click on that, just swipe up a bit and you will actually see print. Oh, it
Yes,
will
I
say,
do. Yes, I do. Yes.
okay. So there, that is how you do it. There's no other like shortcut for that, unfortunately.
Okay, so you have to print text messages one page at a time, apparently.
Yeah, you cannot do like a full conversation.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left. So you see, yeah, Paul had a great question. If you guys have any other questions like that that has to do with text message, feel free to ask me right now. If not, once again, so this was part 1. It will be added. Yeah,
What-
go
what-
ahead, Alicia.
What is iMessage? Like, there's message and iMessage?
Yes, iMessage is only an iPhone to an iPhone. So
Okay.
once again, that is when when your messages are sent to someone and they're blue, that's how you know you're using an iMessage. So if you're texting someone and your message is blue, it's an iMessage. If you text somebody and your message is green, that's an SMS. And most likely the other person has an Android.
But it's no big deal, right?
No, it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It's just when Apple just created that
Yeah. Okay.
for iPhones.
Thank you.
But it doesn't mean like the green is not gonna work, right? It's still
Right.
they still will get the text message.
Yeah.
All right then. So, like I was saying before, these two presentations will be combined together in one huge recording. So if you want to sit down and watch today and last month's recording on messaging apps, it probably will be like an hour-long video on YouTube. Once again, our YouTube is Riverdale Senior Services. So if you, not sorry, Center for Ageless Living. So you have to put the full thing, RSS Center for Ageless Living. You have to type that into YouTube or it will not come up. If you just put RSS, you will get a bunch of different random videos from around the world. Type in RSS Center for Ageless Living and you will see our videos. My videos are always in orange. I make it very clear for you guys to know which ones are my videos.
Yay.
Good.
Thank you again, Tabitha. It was great.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.